Hello and welcome to the 11th annual Healthy Emmie Thanksgiving Spectacular. I actually don't know what number it is. But we could think about it. 2015 would have been the first plant-based Thanksgiving, so that's
10.
No, that's 11.
Yeah.
I was right. So it's actually Black Friday, but I'm gonna show you everything that we are having today for Thanksgiving. We're celebrating today. So, stuffing. I don't even know what was in this caraway. Oh, it smells so good. Stuffing is one of my favorites. So this stuffing is from the Healthy Holidays cookbook. Stuffing is surprisingly easy to make, oil-free, vegan, all of that. Just bread, celery, onion, veggie broth, Bell's seasoning, or if you don't have Bell's seasoning, Italian seasoning. And I made it in my caraway, a non-toxic pan this year, and I just did it over the stovetop this year. So we've got stuffing, which is my holy grail, my number one. Here we have, it looks like there are bread rolls in here. Gotta have my bread. What's the consensus on jellied cranberry? I am not a cranberry sauce gal. I've actually never in my life had it. Maybe I'll try it today. Maybe today's my day. In here, I decided that I wanted to make a gravy, and I love, you guys know, my seitan marsala is one of my absolute favorite recipes because of the gravy that's with it. So I made my marsala gravy. So it is mushrooms, onions, veggie broth, marsala wine, and then I put a little maple syrup as well. Usually you use like a flour to thicken it, but I figured I'm having a lot of flour elsewhere today with stuffing and with bread, so skipped the flour. But who doesn't love mushrooms and onions? Dad's gonna be very happy about that. And then I think in these three, are those all stuffing, Mom?
Stuffing, mashed potatoes, and squash.
Really? Oh yeah, because Ty loves this. So this is, do you wanna come tell us?
Butternut squash.
You gotta.
So butternut squash.
Mashed potatoes, a classic. Now in here is the thing I'm most excited about that you would have seen in my last video that I posted where I was making this. This is my seitan roast. Now I did make this yesterday. It definitely should be something now that I'm like, this is the first time I made it ahead. I feel that this is something that you should make the day of, or perhaps make it but don't cook it and bake it. You can make it ahead, get it all assembled, and then bake it the day of. But that I am so excited about. So my plan, do we have anything else? There's a little bit more gravy, some more bread, corn and boiled onions as well. My plan is gonna be seitan, stuffing, bread, gravy, and that is like seriously all I need. So I'll show you everything set up. Okay, my sister-in-law brought a lentil loaf. Oh my gosh, this recipe is unreal. I wish I knew she was bringing it because I would have left more room on my plate, but here we go. Mom has an apple pie here for dessert. We also have my cinnamon maple cake here. I haven't added this to any of my cookbooks. You know what, I'll add this to the Healthy Desserts cookbook. So that is in the Healthy Desserts cookbook, cinnamon maple cake. Hi guys, it is now a couple days after Thanksgiving, and because we have more holidays coming up, I want to give you some tips and tricks for how I avoid what I think are the two biggest threats that the holidays pose and the struggles that I've seen with my clients. The first being overeating at the holiday, and the second is letting the holiday spiral into just completely falling off track. So I will talk through the logistical things that I do as well as the mindset tricks that I use to completely avoid both of those, overeating at the holiday and then letting it spiral. So let's start with overeating at the holiday. The first logistical thing that I make sure that I do is eat breakfast on that day. I cannot emphasize this enough. What people think is, oh, I'm not going to eat breakfast because then I can save my calories and eat more later in the day. If I eat breakfast and then I have that meal later in the day, then I'll just have eaten too much. But you shoot yourself in the foot here, because when you don't eat anything that day, you get so hungry that you end up overeating because all of that hunger catches up with you. And it's not enjoyable either, because you're like not even tasting the food. You're just so ravenously hungry. You're trying to get it in as fast as possible. And then before you know it, you have a distended stomach and you're way over full. So logistics side of things, eat leading up to the Thanksgiving dinner, the Christmas dinner, whatever the holiday is, Hanukkah, whatever it is, Kwanzaa that you're celebrating. I also like to know ahead of time, what time are we eating? Because if I think, oh, we're gonna eat at 3 p.m. and then we show up at 3 p.m., then we're not eating until 6 p.m., I need to know that because I'm not gonna eat properly, and then we'll get to 6 p.m. and I'll be way over hungry. So I'm not afraid to ask, what time are we aiming for? Like, I'll shoot a text, what time are we aiming for dinner, just so that I can make sure I plan my eating for that day properly. And I know that might seem like you might be embarrassed to say that. Get over it because it's really not a crazy question that you want to plan out your meals to make sure that you're properly nourished. You know, you shouldn't be embarrassed for properly nourishing yourself. This is a non-negotiable. Like, this is not a nice to have, this is a need to have. This is one of the survival needs of humans, is to eat. And I know a lot of people are like, I wish I could just be that relaxed person who could just eat whenever and I don't care what time dinner is. Well, if you're not that person, then we're gonna have to be responsible here. And you know, you can wish, oh, I just wish I was like my husband or my boyfriend who, like, he doesn't ask what time dinner is, he just eats whatever, he doesn't care. Well, you're not them. And so we have to do what is best for you. And you gotta get over that mindset hump here. From a mindset perspective, I remind myself, I don't like overeating. I don't like how my stomach feels. I don't like how I feel when I go to bed that night. I don't like that it follows me for days after. I do not like how I feel when I overeat. You know, there have been times in the past where I'm not an overeater because I despise how it makes me feel. But I think back to like when I was a teenager and you would just like eat too much, or holidays in the past where I didn't know these things and I was just falling victim to overstimulating foods. I never enjoyed how I felt. You know, Thanksgiving in years past, Thanksgiving when I was a kid or a teenager, or Halloween, where you just like eat too much on those days because that's kind of part of what people do on those days. Those were never pleasant experiences. I don't like how that feels. So in the moment when I'm eating the food and it tastes really good and I'm like, ooh, I want to have another plate, I remind myself, you've seen this movie before. You don't like how it ends. It might be some pleasure in the moment to get another plate of food, but that 5 minutes of pleasure is going to be followed by 72 hours of bloating and messed up digestion and not feeling your best. Is that worth it? It's not worth it. In 10 minutes from now, it would have been over by now anyway. So the mindset trick here is to remind yourself, you don't like how this feels. You might like how it feels in the moment, but you don't like how you're gonna feel an hour from now, 2 hours from now, when you go to bed tonight and how you wake up tomorrow morning. You don't like that. Don't do something to yourself that's going to cause you pain. Don't do something that you don't like doing. Another mindset trick that I use, and you have to know yourself on this one because there's two types of people. different things are going to work for different people. There is one subset of people, I fall into this category, where if I tell myself, you can have leftovers tomorrow, you can have the rest tomorrow, you don't have to eat it all right now, that works for me. I would rather have one plate at Thanksgiving and then have leftovers the next day and actually enjoy the leftovers, as opposed to eat so much at the holiday that you feel like you're going to vomit, and then you just start clean the next day and you're like, I can only have it on this one day. I don't like that mode of thinking, like I can only have this on one day, because what that leads to is, well, I have to eat it all now because I'm not allowed to have it tomorrow. So I always tell myself on Christmas or Thanksgiving, I'm like, I can have these leftovers tomorrow if I want to. I don't have to eat all of these right now. And do you know what's funny? I never end up wanting the leftovers the next day. Like in theory, I love the leftovers, but the next day after I've had like a salty, heavy meal that's richer, I'm like, honestly, I just want to go back to my normal meals. Do you know what's genuinely so funny is on Thanksgiving, I was like, I'm kind of sad I'm not going to have my normal meal because I just love the way that I eat so much. And I was like happy to get right back to it the next day. I put the leftovers in the freezer. Like I didn't even have leftovers the next day because I put them in the freezer and I was like, I'll have them on Christmas. But I prefer to be in that camp of, I can have the leftovers the next day if I want to, and then I don't overeat at the holiday, because I'm like, I can have more tomorrow and it's gonna taste better tomorrow after it's sat for a bit. That is gonna work for some people. Who that's not going to work for are the people who spiral, who Thanksgiving turns into the next day and the next day and the next day, and then they're completely off track for the rest of the year. So you have to ask yourself what type of a person you are if you do better with that sort of rigidity and structure and a clean break. Some people do better with that because they set it, I'm done, I'm not having this tomorrow, and then they're right back on track. You have to know what type of a person you are. I do better with telling myself, I can have the leftovers tomorrow if I want to. And then it's so funny, like I said, the next day comes and I'm like, I don't even want them. I just want to go back to my normal way of eating. So this kind of leads into the next thing that we're talking about here is, how do we make sure that this does not lead into the next day and the next day and the next day? A few mindset tricks that I use and some logistic things that I use. Logistically, what I recommend people do is before the holiday, you prep all of your meals for the day after the holiday and you put them in the fridge. So if it's Thanksgiving, the day before let's do Christmas. On Christmas Eve or Christmas Eve, you prep all of your meals for Boxing Day, as they call it, for December 26th. You put them in the fridge, and that way when you wake up on December 26th, your meals are there, they're ready to go. Something else that I've changed logistically is in past years, we would make so much food. We had so many leftovers. And for individuals that struggle with the idea of food waste, that can be difficult because they're like, I don't want to waste all this food, and I totally get it. So we have really cut back the amount that we've made. And the way that I work through that mindset wise is I'm like, you know, if I want to have butternut squash risotto, I can make it any day that I want to. I can't only have this on Thanksgiving. So I made for Thanksgiving this year, you saw the things that I've made. I feel like I've made so much more in years past. I didn't even like make a dessert this year because I was like, I don't really care. Like if I really want to have a dessert, I can make a dessert on a different day, or I can make it for Christmas. I won't go to jail if I eat pumpkin pie next week instead of this week. And I also remind myself too that the eyes are bigger than the stomach. When have you ever on a holiday run out of food? You never run out of food because we make way too much. So what I would do this holiday is like take stock of how much you actually need to make so that for the next holiday you can adjust and make just as much as you need. And I get, that you don't want to run out of food. So what I would do as well is before the holiday, go and buy a bunch of Tupperware and make sure that those leftovers get sent home with everybody else except for you. Then from a mindset perspective, what I do is I zoom forward to January. And I ask my clients to do this. How do you want to feel when January starts? Do you want to feel like, oh my God, I have so much that I need to do. I have all this weight I have to get off. I completely fell off track. Nobody wants to feel like that come the holidays. So you got to put yourself there and do it for her. Do it for the January version of yourself who can look back and say, I am so proud of how I handled that because I don't need to set the New Year's resolution to start all over again this January because I handled myself during the holidays and the holidays aren't a threat to me anymore. Think about how you want to feel come January. Do you want to set a resolution that's maybe different from the typical lose weight, lose weight? What if we set a resolution that's to work on your mental health or your emotional health or your spiritual health or gaining strength and getting stronger and setting new personal records in the gym? Wouldn't that be fun to switch it up? Let's make it so that you can stay on track during the holidays. And then when January comes, you can set new goals that aren't just to get off all the holiday weight gain. And this isn't to say that you can't indulge. I don't think I've said that. I don't think I've put forth that message at all. But it's to indulge in a way that is responsible and respectful to your body. If you made it to this point of the video, I want you to tell me one dish that you are making for the holidays. So leave a comment and let me know. I will link some of our past holiday vlogs so you can watch those. So the next video that pops up on the screen is going to be a holiday from years past. I love you, honeys, and I'll see you in my next video.